Hey everybody, how you doing? It's a Wednesday night. This is an impromptu, out of the ordinary, unplanned live stream. Thought maybe I'd hang out with a few of you guys. It's been an interesting day. Not necessarily nothing crazy. I just took the day off and did a boondoggle down to Los Angeles, met up with a buddy of mine, and just got home and said, you know what? What an excellent target of opportunity to hang out with all you guys for a little bit and see how everybody's doing. So I guess I'll go ahead and start this like I normally would. Welcome to Break the Cycle with DSD. I am your host, Duane. I'm not a therapist, nor am I an attorney. I'm an individual much like you. It's gone through a crazy experience, developed some tips and techniques throughout my life to deal with it that I share with you to help you get your life back, minimize the impact of a toxic person in your life, and if you have children, to help you rebuild that. So remember, only a licensed professional can diagnose somebody with a personality disorder, so don't go around diagnosing your ex, telling everybody that you figured it out, you watched a couple of YouTube videos, and got it all dialed in. Don't do that. It'll blow up in your face. Obviously, learn about it. Find out what the patterns of behavior are. Learn what people recommend to deal with it, and leave it at that. If you like what's going on here and you want to support it and help keep the lights on, one way you can do that is by becoming a channel member. And when you do that, you get special badges, custom emojis, your name's listed in the credit, member-only events, which I'm having a hard time scheduling lately, and access to the member-only Discord, which I'm generally on. So I check that out quite a bit. So if you want to get text notified whenever I go live, just text DSDLIVE to 1-844-598-0012. That's DSDLIVE, 1-844-598-0012. And speaking of phone numbers, I did turn the phone lines on today. So if you want to participate in today's show, you can do that by dialing 1-424-373-5483 or 1-424-DSD-LIVE. And on that, damn, I timed that perfectly. That was amazing. I figured I was going to run that late. All right, guys, let's see. I think the other thing I did want to mention is how am I going to do this? I have recorded a let me see if I can. Man, my computer's running really slow, so you have to let me know if things wig out because my keyboard's not working right. I did an interview with one of the subjects on Erasing Families. Actually, they're in the comments right now, Dizzy Lerner. I'm going to publish that tomorrow. I'm going to try to that's an hour-long discussion that we sat down, well, virtually, sat down and discussed his story. There's him right there. There's his daughter. In the little screen, the Erasing Family thing. So if you have not seen the Erasing Family documentary, search that out, watch that, because I think that when you hear his story and some of the things we talked about in the podcast and the video cast, I think you'll like it. So look for that. If anyone in the comments knows where a place you can watch that right now, let me know. Hold on, I'm trying to readjust some windows and stuff. Maconia did a super chat. Let me see if I can pull this up. Whoops, might help if I hit the right button. Super chat says, like button, please, and welcome Dizzy. Thanks so much. I appreciate that. So let me flip back over here. There we go. So, and let me close this over here because otherwise it will definitely distract me. Anyways, okay, so hit the right button. Where's my button to hide comments? I put this, oh, there it is. Okay, that didn't work. Let me try again. All right, I guess I have to use the mouse. Oh, there it goes. Okay, well, so much for that. Anyways, YouTube has it posted. YouTube has what posted? That shouldn't be posted yet because it's still private. I think it's still private. Guys, when uploading an hour-long 4K video takes a lot of time. So let me see who else here in the comments. I expect a small crowd, especially whenever, oh, here we go. Dizzy Learner. Hello, Duane. Hey, Dizzy. Thanks for jumping on the live stream. So hopefully you guys will watch the interview tomorrow and like it. I'll do the text notification when it's going live, and I'm going to try to send it out. Oh, YouTube has the whole, okay. Maconia says, McD says, where is it at? You just said that YouTube has the Erasing Family doc posted. Oh, you might even be able to watch it right on YouTube. Well, that is great. All right, Dizzy. So Dizzy may not be able to participate. He's at work listening. So maybe in his salon, people are hearing what we're listening to the show. Anyways, hopefully everybody's doing all right. I'm looking to see who all we got. We got a handful of people here. We do have a caller. I'm going to go to that here in a second. Tiffany says, for you guys who know, Tiffany's been dealing with, she called onto the show the other day. Finally had the court dates. Things are progressing there, and finally had unsupervised visitation with all the kids, and the ex is trying to not get them in therapy. So, man, it's amazing how these people will just do everything to slow roll things to try to make it as complicated as possible. All right, so I am going to clickety-clack some buttons here, and I will go to, actually, I'm going to go to, I forgot to turn on, well, I'll go to this. I've been in the car all day, guys. Sorry about the disorganization on my part. All right, I'm going to go to the first caller on line 1. Hello and welcome to the show.
Duane,
hey, man.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you? It looks like my buttons aren't working, though.
I know the feeling.
What's going on?
Hey, yeah. Oh man, I just had dinner with my kids. I'm always feeling good when I see them because the time is so limited these days. So it's almost like, and it's so clear that they love me. There's different forms of parental alienation. There's where you just never get to see your kids, because they figure out a way to block it, and then there's where you get to see them like rarely, and it's just a lot of shenanigans. Like in my case, is unusual where I see them rarely, but the kids, most of the time, the kids are saying they don't want to see me, but when they're with me, they're happy to see me. So it's like this sort of limbo state. It's like on your way to full blown alienation. I feel it. Yeah. It's just been declining until the court intervened, and then another form of it is where they've trained the kids just to totally hate your guts. Fortunately, I don't have that one. That sounds like the worst.
Yeah.
But there's all kinds of parental alienation. It's all over the place. It's not like these people read a playbook, and it's one of the things that makes it so confusing, and one of the reasons why there's no clear definition for it. There is a definition for it, but it has to be very broad. As soon as you try to define it too much, it falls apart. That's the problem with it. It's based on underlying psychological principles, not based on the behaviors can totally vary from parent to parent because it's instinctive. People are going to have different instincts. Some people are going to badmouth. Some people are going to use coercion and subtle hints and, subtle brainwashing, which sounds insane to people who've never been around brainwashing. But people who've dealt with it, we know it's real and it works that way. It can work 10 different ways. When you have control over a child, if you could brainwash somebody into a cult, this is like a full-blown adult. Imagine what you could do with the child that you see every day, and it's totally dependent on you.
Yeah.
If you have the inclination to do that to them, it's just.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. And most people would never expect anyone to do it. It seems like, of course, no parent would ever do that to their own child. That's terrible. That would never happen. But yeah, it happens a lot. We all live with it in one form or another. We're living with it.
And what you had, one caller said, talked about just constantly putting up hurdles. Like the timing of that was perfect because it was the last thing you talked about. Like, here's an example of hurdles. Over 40 emails over the course of 1 week just to schedule one 4-hour visit this upcoming weekend. A 4-hour visit.
Yeah.
40 emails.
No, it sounds about right. I mean, because it's just to try to make it as complicated. It's to wear you down. You know, just to
exactly.
Just to
wear. And there's people in the loop. The guardian ad litem, the people doing the visitation supervision, all these, and everyone's just going with it. Like no one's like, hey, parent who's making this so hard, stop making it hard. Stop it. Because if they said that, there wouldn't have been 40 freaking emails. Because I know maybe they could have done it in the background and said, please stop it, just simplify this, But obviously they didn't do that because she just made it more and more complicated.
No, I hear you, man. And I so wish that the system would look at that and say, okay, you know what? You're making this complicated. You're trying to screw with this. So stop it now or else. And I mean, like actually have some teeth to it. Or when you get to that point, you just
start to lose it after a while. I sent an email that didn't even make sense yesterday. I was like, what? I mean, it really tests you. I even called my lawyer, like in the middle of all of that. I was like, I can't believe you took my call. If I were you, I wouldn't want anything to do with this. Like, this is insane. He goes, yeah. I go, I want to punch you in the face, and I want to punch myself in the face. I was like, he's like, don't punch me in the face. My lawyer's a little bit of a jerk, but I was just getting irrational. Like it's like, how do you keep your sanity?
It's tough.
I mean, deep is to be in the midst of it is completely mind-boggling, and you just feel so bad for your kids, and the people get it now. I can only imagine 10 years ago when this was happening, people were probably like scratching their heads, because you were scratching your head in the beginning. Probably I was scratching my head, like, what's going on?
Well, and then you
Google
get
it and you're like, oh, okay. But like 10 years ago, there was no conversation of this on the internet. So what the hell did people do? They probably lost their minds.
They lost their minds. They walked away. They made bad choices. But I think about it. In the old days, what was the narrative is that, the father would leave and start a new life and completely reject their children. It's like, what kind of scumbag could do that? But now that, we're living through all this and we see it. I mean, I see it. I understand it now. I mean, if you're living through this effing nightmare and you remarry and you're rebuilding your life and you've tried and you're just beating your head against the wall, and nobody is supporting you, nobody's believing you. If you don't do something really bad, I don't want to use the word, so it doesn't ban it on the YouTube, doesn't flag it, but you just say, okay, you know what? I lost, they won, I've lost my children, but I'm not going to give up, and I'm going to continue to have a life. And you move on with the pain, and you start over, and you just say, okay, well, that's it. I mean, the difference now.
I think those are the people who end up killing themselves, honestly, because the suicide rate's pretty high. Yeah. And first of all, if anyone's considering suicide, please get help. I am not considering it, and I have not, thankfully, but I get it. I get how I think if I gave up and I just said, I'm going to live my life, and then all of a sudden I realized I didn't do everything I could to keep my kids in my life. I'm not saying I'd kill myself at that point, but I know it could sneak up on you, and you could realize you made a really
bad choice.
Listen, I get pulling back. I get pulling back for a week or a month or maybe even a few months, but you never give up. That's my philosophy. If you need to pull back, then pull back. But never tell yourself you're walking away and it'll turn around, because it just doesn't work that way. And I think we've all learned that. A lot of people tell us that, but that's a myth. That's like one of the myths of parental alienation, is that it'll cure itself. It doesn't. Sometimes it does, but that's like a luck of the draw. I think most of the time, if you walk away, it doesn't resolve itself.
No, I just, as you're talking about that, well, I just want, and I know I made a video of this, in the past. I'm not sure what it's called, but I had a conversation with my father You know, sitting right over there behind the set over on the couch. And it was around the time where I had the epiphany that, oh my God, my ex is like my mother. And what my kids are doing is the same thing that I did to my father. And I was, you know, I mean, just instinctively, I was contemplating doing some things, not bad like that, but just, you know, distancing myself and pulling away. And, you know, I was talking to my dad and I just said, you know, hey man, I understand why you did what you did. And I'm sorry for being such a butthead when I was a kid. I didn't get it. And he started getting emotional about it. Right. I mean, even after 40 some odd years, you know, he still had PTSD associated with that. And I felt bad. And he's like, I'm so sorry. I should have done more. I'm like, Dad, you did everything you possibly could in this. I mean, you didn't have the DSD channel, and you didn't have books and other therapists who understood that. I mean, you didn't have the resources. So, I mean, I can't knock him for what he did.
Even if you have it all, I'm not going to judge you if you walk away. I'm just not. I know. I'm not going to. I just think it's a bad idea. I think you might regret it, and you could destroy yourself. And so you better think long and hard.
No, I hear what you're saying.
Here's the info we have. All these children who are now adults, like Ryan Thomas Speaks, and I think I told you about those other two women who have one woman's in the U.S., one's Australia. I think I text you the name of the site. Anyway.
Oh yeah, I think the Eeny Meeny Miny Mo. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Amy Baker did a whole book on did a whole research study on adult children who used to be alienated kids, and or adults who used to be alienated kids, and all of them say the same thing. Even the worst cases of alienation, the kids say it made a difference that my parents still tried. Now that might seem like a miserable existence, but why not still try and live your life? You know, why
exactly?
It's not like
that. Exactly, man.
You're just.
And that's the message I try to put out there.
I mean, it's not easy.
Yeah. It isn't. No, it's not.
Easy. That's why there's no judgment.
Yeah.
There's no judgment here. I'm just saying, try that. Try that. Oh,
I hear you, man.
I got PTSD, man. I'm this whole thing is traumatizing. I didn't sleep. I've been off and on with the sleep, and you know, I'm trying to like take long walks at night just to help me sleep, and you know, and it's nuts. It's like you're in the twilight zone. Like nobody, all these people just watching you go through it. It's like worse than a science fiction. It's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, where you know all of these crazy people are acting like all of these people are acting like it's normal, but there's something really, really wrong.
You know what? Though
everyone's acting like it's okay.
But what I would say on it, you know, there are movies that have been made about this. You know, for the last 40 years, there's movies that have this title in it, or not title, but I mean this subject matter. But the problem is it's so over the top. It's hard to believe. And the sad part about it is a lot of people think, oh, well, if you're going through this, then you must have done something. If your kids don't want to see you, then you must have done something. And the reality is people need to start realizing that is not normal. That's not normal. When kids are like, I don't want to be here, I don't want to see you, there's something else going on. Because you could have
there's a bigger theme.
Oh,
there's
yeah.
A bigger
absolutely,
theme here,
man.
Oh yeah. Coercive control.
Absolutely.
Have you watched this? I may have mentioned this last time. Have you watched this Scientology documentary?
No, I haven't seen it. Well, I don't think I've seen it. Maybe. I'm not sure.
It's on Netflix with Leah Remini, you know, the attractive woman that used to be on King of Queens, the wife.
Okay.
I don't know if you ever watched that show. No. Anyways, it's a show. It completely does a full expose on Scientology over 3 seasons. So there's, I don't know, like over 30 episodes. I've watched them all. Fascinating. So cults are fascinating to me. It's the same craziness.
Yeah.
It's the same craziness. It's just that coercive control, that cult type of thinking, except this is a cult in a family. And you hear it all the time. Even Amy Baker did research on this, comparing cults. Actually, I watched a video last night. I'll send you the link to a guy who used to do research on cults and now is doing research on parental alienation. And it's the same, you know, narcissism is involved too, right? These cult leaders tend to be narcissistic.
Yeah.
Gaslighting, denial of reality. It's the same. Look at David Koresh. Look at Jim Jones. I mean, these guys are complete narcissists. It's not that different. But why do we still have cults?
Yeah.
I think the same reason why we still have cults is the same. I think until society has woken up to what a cult really is, they won't wake up into what parental alienation really is. I think they go hand in hand.
Well, again, and I got another caller, so we'll have to wrap this up. But again, the problem is that people who haven't experienced it, they can't comprehend it. So it doesn't make sense. It doesn't seem real. You know, I mean, and it's like
even rape. You know, rape.
Yeah.
People didn't really have. They knew rape happened, or they had a sense for it. They didn't really know. I don't think everyone was a rapist.
Right.
You know, a few hundred years ago. Right. But, you know, eventually women started talking about it, and it was like, oh my God, this is crazy. We have to stop this, you know, and we have to protect women. And like, it's probably always existed. They pretended. I mean, it's probably just was much more common than this. I don't know. Maybe that's a bad analogy, but there's got to be some comparison for something that we didn't understand and we eventually figured out and addressed it. I'm sure there's many other things in life and in society that we just didn't understand. Like, look at, I don't know, this is a weird comparison, but diets, like the kind of food we used to think, you know, sugar wasn't bad for you. Now we think sugar is the killer. You know, it's just like, it's just an awareness of
I know.
You know, a simple awareness of basic things. But I know you need to run. I could keep going. I have PTSD, so my mouth just keeps going.
No worries, man.
You know?
Thanks for calling, and I appreciate what you had to say, because I mean, it's like, you know, it needs to get out there. So thanks for calling, man.
Thanks, Duane.
I just so you guys know, I was trying to convince Eric to come on, and he's traveling, so he's not able to do it. I'm like, come on, man, turn on your camera. Let's bring you on. Let's see. They're going to, so you guys know, and I don't know if this is what he just texted me. He's going to Idaho for another rally for John. So that's outstanding. So if you guys, you know what? Okay. First things first, and then I'm going to go to the next caller. First thing first is, here is the Erasing Family documentary. So just do a search for Erasing Family, and it does appear as though it is available online. And since I'm right here, let me do this. And if you guys are not familiar with Dad Talk Today, they have a really big following on. Hey, congratulations, man. You're over 1,000, dude. That's great. Now, okay, as I'm saying that, his following is primarily on Facebook. So he's got like 500,000 or something, or 250,000 followers on Facebook. And he's really trying to build his following on YouTube. We're talking about Eric Carroll. And I mean, check out the people he gets. He had Dr. Ben Carson on his show. Ben Carson, you know, I mean, that's freaking great. That's awesome. So if you guys are, you know, if you go over, subscribe to his stuff, show that channel, that YouTube channel, some love, because right now YouTube is one of the few places where you can still actually interact with people. Let me turn this off. And my stuff is just not playing well today. So let me do this. But I'm going to go to the next line, so stand by. Hello and welcome to the show.
Hey, Duane. Hi, Tumblr.
Hey, man. How's it going? Sorry I had you on hold there for quite a while. Doing good, man.
Oh, no. I like hearing the other guy speak. I know he calls in. And he has a good perspective on things, and I really appreciate listening to both of y'all converse. So it's really nice. But I just kind of wanted to call in. We haven't spoken like in a few months.
No, it's been a while.
You and I have and so my court order like ended in December. It was in early December of last year.
Okay.
So I mean, not even a month after the ex and we started doing our co-parenting counseling, and then it got her into a segue of like communicating with me. She started like calling me, like to quote, talk about my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really just to get to me.
Right.
So
right. Yeah.
After that, she was showing a lot of interest, and I was like, you know what, maybe I really like the fact that we're able to talk to each other, you know, as a co-parent, because it's so much different than it was before. So the co-parenting seemed to be helping, but it wasn't really her motive. She didn't really care about the co-parenting thing. It was mostly just a segue to talk to me. But anyways, So I was like, you know what, this could be a good opportunity to improve my situation. Maybe if she's normal, who knows? I mean, I think I've been speaking with you since last summer, and
yeah,
I was like, yeah, like she's a narcissist, and blah blah blah, you know. And then I was like, but anyways, so we practically got back in the relationship again, and it was terrible. I mean, it lasted for like a little less than 3 months, and yeah, it actually was worse than before. And then it just ended. Like, I was at my house, and I work from home. She works from home, and in our court order, if since we're both working from home, if we if we're called back to work like in the office again, the other parent that's still working from home, they're supposed to be the ones that looks after the child. And so we were on the phone in the morning, like during the work week last week, and then she didn't hear my daughter in the background, and I was like, she's here, you know, like don't worry, you know, she's not like at a daycare or anything.
Right.
But anyways, she kept telling me to like prove it to her, and I was like, no, I was like, I don't think I need to prove anything to you. She's right here. She's just not right next to me. She's quiet right now. But anyways, she started blowing up my phone and stuff, and then so anyways, I was like, all right, I have a feeling she's about to come to my house now.
Oh, really?
So anyway, she comes over to my house. Yeah. And I went to the park during my lunch break. So I got back, and she happened to be pulling in right in front of my house as I was pulling. And then she thought she was like somewhere else the entire time. But anyways, she approached me aggressively at my car as I was like, I don't know, she like came right after I pulled into my driveway. And then she just said, she asked me a couple times, where has she been? I like told her, and then she didn't believe me. And then she just said she was going to call the cops on me. So I was like, okay, what can I do? You know, you're going to call the cops.
Did she actually call the cops?
I mean, she actually did call the cops on me. Yeah. So,
hey, so I got a question for you, right? I mean, because when you, if you don't mind, and hopefully this isn't, if you don't want to answer this is fine. But when you were talking about doing this, you mentioned it on the Discord, and a lot of people, including myself, were trying to dissuade you from doing that. Is there anything I could have said to you that would have prevented you from sticking your, because you're lucky that this didn't turn bad, that she called the cops, but nothing happened out of it. But what could someone say to someone who's going through that part to try to get them to not make that mistake?
That's a really good question, Duane. I mean, yeah, could anyone have like told me, like, you know?
Well, that's annoying. My phone just died. So stand by one. I'm going to see if I can that is weird. My phone just disconnected. So let me try this again. I'm trying to call back into the system.
Thank you for calling Call-In Studios.
Stand by one, guys. Sorry about this.
Enter your 6-digit.
My phone actually hung up.
Welcome, host. You are now in the host room and can manage your callers from the Call-In Studio web interface.
Okay.
No, I mean,
are you back?
I don't think
so. Hey man, just to let you know, because you may not have heard it, but my phone dropped. So there's about 30 seconds that we completely lost to your call. So I want, and this is an important question. So I'm just going to go back.
Oh yeah.
Because most of what you said was cut off. Is there anything that I or anyone else could have said to you to make you really rethink it, or was this something that you had to experience to prove it to yourself?
I guess it was something that I had to experience because I did it anyways, and I kind of had that conscious in the back of my mind, like, she's not right still, but I was like, let me just try it out. And it's like I didn't learn the first time. Not like I didn't learn the first time, but
no, man, I hear you. I'm glad you're saying that after this it's worked, because and see, this is my dilemma, right? And this is kind of what I won't deep dive in, because I know we had some conversations about this prior to this. Sometimes, guys, and I'll just say this to everyone, sometimes we have to put ourselves back into harm's way to prove it. And I wish to God, like for you, dude, I'm glad that you were unscathed, but I was, to be honest, for those few weeks that you were doing that, I was just waiting for the call for it to really go bad and for you to lose serious ground. So,
oh, wow.
I mean, I was worried. I was really worried. I'm like, oh my God, you're going to end up in jail. She's going to basically undo all the mistakes that she's already done, because I've seen that happen before. I was really worried about you, man. But I also knew that I couldn't, I tried different ways to try to break through to you, and it wasn't working.
Yeah, you merged. Y'all are all right about it. And that's why I didn't communicate that with my family, just because I was like, all right, I don't even know where this is going to go. It's probably not going to go anywhere, but let me try it out. But they're going to think that I'm crazy for doing it. And most people would anyway. So they're like, what are you doing with someone like that? Why would you even entertain that? She's not going to do anything for you. She doesn't care about you. But
one of the things, what I want to address on that, and if you don't mind, I'm trying to use your story to illustrate a point. And the video I made the other day, when the narcissist pulls you back in, was kind of your story was kind of a catalyst for that. But what I wanted to say is, she didn't come back and start acting the same way. This all started because it was more friendly. You actually looked like you were co-parenting. You lowered your defenses, because who wants to live in this effing nightmare forever? And I think you did what I did the same thing. I didn't engage in a relationship with my ex, but there was a couple of times where she tried to act like a normal human being. And I'm like, oh, thank God, things are going to finally calm down. And as soon as things got back to a normal status, boom, it went right back to normal, right back to the evil. Just the bad part of it. And I think a lot of, so I guess what I'm hoping is if somebody is listening to this right now, and if you're going, but they're different, but they've changed, if at all possible, maybe listen to iTumbler's story, listen to that, and maybe, question whether you should do it, You
should not do it. I made her look a little bit crazy in front of the cops, because I was like, I don't know what she's doing. Like, she's like, yeah, the cops were even like, yeah, she hasn't, your daughter, which she was in my arms, But I went outside with her and, talked to the cops. They're like, yeah, I have not heard a peep out of her. So, and the cops told me that she had me recorded of, like, basically not being able to hear anything in the background. So I was like, oh, okay. I had a feeling that was happening, because, like, the previous night, that kind of, like, we were arguing pretty bad. And that's why in the morning, it was a pretty bad argument. And then she didn't hear her in the background. It was like, I guess her final, like, straw of, like, just blowing up. It was, she kept asking me questions. She wanted me to admit to things that I said in court as if they weren't true, like, about her. And I was like, why are you, like, trying to make me admit to things like this? First of all, that's a lie. Like, I didn't lie in any sort of way about court. You were literally underfeeding her, and I caught that.
Yeah.
But she was trying to make sure to be recorded of, like, basically manipulating the court.
See,
so, and then, of course, in the future, they're
no, right there. See, that's the risk, guys. That's the risk. You enter, you step in the viper den, and if you're in the middle of it, there's a good chance you're going to get bit. And for you to find out now that she was being nice to try to get you to say, yeah, well, this isn't true. It was all a manipulative effing lie to get you to undermine your entire credibility in your process. Listen to this, people.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I am so glad that you made it through this okay, right? Because this could have blown up in your face in ways that you don't even, couldn't even imagine.
Well, to be honest with you, I'm not going to be surprised, because since our court order ended, our final first court order ended in December.
Oh, okay.
Of last. I'm gonna try for this December to kind of refile for modify my parenting time.
Right.
And try to get to 50. And yeah, I'm sure that I did talk crap about the JL on the phone. I did talk about crap about her lawyer, basically how I kicked their butt and single-handedly, and just all this stuff, and how they were both like against me, and just like she was acting like a crappy parent. That's why she like basically spent all that money to like basically see her parenting time and legal rights or final decision-making authority over some of the legal rights disappear. And so I started saying that stuff, which I was saying that out of anger, but that's the thing. They're going to make you, they're going to like
push your buttons. They're going to go
say, like,
boop, right in your effing eye.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. And they're going to make you say things and get you emotional to trigger you. And then they're going to use that against you in the future.
Guys, and that is why it's so dangerous to put okay, here's the problem. I think most of us who are on this channel, if you're here, then this all connects with you. And as a result of that, we're all kind of cut from the same cloth. We're very similar. And my take on that is that means, you don't like to live in this constant state of anxiety and stress and having your defenses on. But the sad reality is when you're dealing with somebody like this, you have to be laser-like focused and have your defenses with those people, because you can never trust them. And I hate to say that. I would love to say, hey, look, there's a chance that things can get better. They can change. They can do whatever. But once you've been burned a couple of times, hopefully only once, that it's not worth the risk, because the risk is high. Everything you're saying right now, if she had played it better, you could have just torpedoed your entire case, hurt yourself more with even trying to get custody. You could have set yourself backwards tremendously.
Yep.
I'm not trying to poke you in the eye, man. So I hope that doesn't feel like I am.
No, I feel like it's so two things. Like, okay, when you first get screwed over in court and you're withheld, when your child is withheld from you for like almost like 3/4 of a year, and you spend like tons of money, this person has basically put you through so much crap, and then they call the cops on you.
Oh yeah. Then
you really, if you have any self-respect, you don't see them in any other way at that point. You have to think, you have to know it's over. And you have to know that there's never a time to ever get back with them.
Yeah.
There's never a time to lay your guard down, because the moment you do, if they see that they can call the cops on you and you'll still deal with them,
dude,
oh my God,
dude, but here's the thing. If your ex was just a little bit more devious, you throw in a sexual abuse claim, and then you're going to jail and you're dealing with that. We got back together and I thought we were just talking and this happened. And then what do you do? Right. I don't know if and don't even go into that, but I'm just saying it's danger. It is absolute danger. Hold on. Ricky has a question. He says, I have a question. So what do you do when she's being all nice, the kids are happy because you're getting along? Do you just ignore her and let the kids blame you? Okay. So what I would say on that, Ricky, and I'm sorry, Tums, let's just take a pause for this so I can hit this. And if you, I'd like to hear your thoughts after I answer it. Ricky, this is what I would say, man. You got to keep your defenses up. You can be nice. You can, like, I've had experiences where I interact with my ex, and even though I'm like always kind of like at bay, at bay's maybe not the right word. I'm always kind of in a defensive mode, but I can make small talk. I can, make a semi-pleasant experience. And I've actually had my kids say, oh, that was so nice. It was so nice to see you guys getting along. I still don't trust her at all. And I am, and the sad part is when I'm having conversations, I'm thinking in real time, it's like, okay, don't bring this topic up because I don't want to drive this topic to the ground. So I keep it very superficial. I don't bring certain things up. I try to make sure that I don't say anything to stick my finger, boop, in her eye and minimize that. You can do that. I'm not, there's a balance. And if you can't do that, okay, let me just say, for instance, Ricky, if you cannot do that, if that is too much and it sounds like you're getting along, fine, right? I mean, if you're kind of primed into the pissed off position and you're worried about how you're going to react, then keep your defenses up. I mean, because you at the end of the day, you have to make sure you minimize your mistakes. If you can interact with your ex in a way that it can appear fine, there's nothing wrong with that, man. So, Ricky, if that helps you, I'm going to wait to see if you say something. But Tumblr, since you're on the phone, what do you think about that question? Do you want me to reread it to you or did you see it?
Yeah, I'm not looking at the screen.
Okay, so what the question is, so what do you do? And this is kind of what happened to you. So what do you do when she's being all nice? The kids are happy because you're getting along. Do you just ignore her? In other words, basically, do you keep, no contact and you basically keep a huge wall up and let the kids blame you? So, go for it.
Oh, I was going to say that you should still keep your guard up. It doesn't matter at that point. Like I said, from my experience, if they've really screwed you over the first time, I would say keep it professional with them, smile a little bit, but don't over exaggerate. Don't build her up in front of the kids or anything like that. Because then you're just lying to your kids about. But I would say be rude
No,
to
that's
her.
a good point. That's a great point.
But because they're going to remember these things and they're going to remember that, okay, I remember my dad or my mom, the way he or she treated the other parent, and they're going to think that you were the issue the entire time.
Yeah. So
they're going to blame, you don't want to be the person that they blame. You want them to be you want the other side to be blamed, if anything, not you. Because, your relationship with your kids is the most important thing that you can have. And the last thing that you need is them screwing you over and then having your kids be turned against you at the same time for something that, you could have. Yeah. That's all in your control. You can control the way that you are. You can't control them. But, just smile, but keep it to a minimal. I don't believe in being all fake and doing all that. It's too much work. Yeah. And it's just not necessary. And it's just being disingenuous with your kids.
Yeah. No, spot on, man. Hey, I'm gonna there's a couple other callers in, and we need to one of these days do this a little bit more in depth. Maybe do a video interview whenever you are far enough along in your case that we can. All right?
Oh yeah, that sounds great. I look forward to that. Yeah, I would love that.
All right. Thanks, man.
Thanks for the chat, Duane. I really appreciate it.
Yep.
Have a good one.
So the other thing I just want to hit before I go to the other caller, and I got to figure out where this is. Ricky had said, thanks for answering. This happened recently and just almost immediately after we agreed on a schedule that worked for her. She said a false allegation of abuse, of physical abuse, I'm trying to be careful with the wording, almost immediately. See, Ricky, that's the problem, right? I mean, it's like, there's a video I did. Let me see if I can pull this up. Because this would be good for you and this would be good for anyone else. Let me pull up my channel. And if you guys don't know, if you go to a channel and you go to the main page, well, actually, you know what? If you just go DSD, beware of the nice. This video, this old, oh my God, I look horrible. In this old video in the first year of the channel, I made this video. Jesus, that has 74,000 views. Oh my God. Okay. Didn't realize that. Anyways, that video talks specifically about this topic. So Ricky, I'd encourage you to check that out. Whoops. Let me hit this button, see if it shuts off. Yes, it did. Good. But that's the problem. You can't trust these frickin' people. They'll act nice and they'll be friendly and they'll like, oh, why can't we? Let's get along. Can I have this? To lull you in a false sense of security, and then wham. And it's so frustrating. And Ricky, I would imagine the hard part is that, now you're in this situation and you look like the bad guy because you can't tell the kids, hey, your crazy mother did this, this, and this, or is accusing me of, of something. So, all right, let's see here. Yeah. So Ricky says it was just the first time I've seen the kids happy and content, and I wanted it to continue. Problem is, man, you can't. It's like dealing with a rattlesnake. I used pit viper a minute ago, but my thought is you're not gonna play around and have a pet rattlesnake, because at any moment that thing can turn around and just bite you. And if you're in the desert of California with Mojave greens, you're gonna die from it. Mojave green's venom is deadly. Rattlesnake venom can be, but anyways, I digress. So I'm going to go to the next caller. So talking about double binds, I got 2 callers, so I'll do this one and then we'll do another one. Did I hit the right button? Hello, welcome to the show.
Hey, Duane, it's Tiffany.
Hey, how you doing? How are you? Things getting better?
Oh, I got more panic attacks and more stress now than I did before the visit.
So just so everybody knows, because you called in the other day, so if you aren't on the Discord, then you don't know. Tiffany had her court date. Supervised visitation is off. You're getting ready for overnights in a month. You're trying to get therapy for the kids. The ex is fighting it. And tonight you had your first unsupervised visit at your house. Am I correct?
Nope. I am taking the whole entire month to just keep them away from the house. Okay. I actually bought a security system that I just installed tonight. Woo woo.
Hey, there you go.
But at pickup, this is my double bind. At pickup, his fiance comes over to me and tells me all about my son's classes are ready for pickup at Walmart. And I'm like, well, that's great. And then I went back to, getting the kids in the vehicle.
Okay.
And I guess the assumption was that I was going to go pick them up. And I'm like, no, nobody emailed me. Nobody texted me. Nobody said anything to me. No, I'm not picking them up. Like, my kid's been going for over a year without glasses. I'm pretty sure he's going to make it another day.
Yeah, copy that.
On top of that, if good old dad was in the same town, had no kids and no obligation, then why didn't he pick them up? Because I was busy with my visitation time with my kids.
It's always something. It's always something. So I'm sorry that happened. But hey, let me ask you this though. So how was it? Did you guys have a good time?
For the most part, unfortunately, my daughter had an accident. So it's common for 4-year-olds, but I can tell that she was really hesitant to talk about it. Obviously I can smell urine. So I asked her, did you pee your pants? It's fine if you did, because we just need to go out and get supplies now instead of doing XYZ, which is what we ended up doing. We ended up actually going to Walmart, which is a funny thing, to pick up some quick underwear and quick change of clothes. And I still didn't pick up the glasses because, no. You can't tell me that you want me to have no responsibility and then fluff all this responsibility on me. That's not how this works.
I can remember those days.
You're not going to tell me what to do during my visitation time.
Yep.
But outside of that, there was an incident with my daughter who, I was joking around, asking, I told my son, are you going to wear her dress? I think it'd be kind of funny because, she's smaller than you are. I don't think you're going to have a good time getting into it. And my daughter pipes up, who's only 4, mind you. that if he put on a dress, then he's gay. I'm like, you're 4. How do you know about this? So I can definitely tell that my ex is trying. There's 2 double binds in that. So there's the eyeglass one, and then the second one is that all 4 children came to the visit, not just 3 of them, which means that he's trying to get the second oldest out of reunification therapy, because any therapy where the kids get to talk freely means that good old dad is going to be outed.
But was reunification therapy addressed on your recent hearing, or is that a pending issue?
It's reunification for him in lieu of visitation. So dad thinks that if he makes him go, because that child didn't have any problems whatsoever going with me. I mean, they love getting stuff. They love eating out. They love,
I mean, honestly, I mean, I hate to say it, but it's a smart move on your ex's part, because reunification therapy could provide more data points on what he's doing. So I guess, I mean, yeah, you're kind of,
the sad thing is that he's unemployed again.
Wow.
He's unemployed again, so he wouldn't even be able to pay for half of this therapy, which would hold him in contempt of court a lot. So his hard choices were, don't send him, go to reunification therapy, have to pay out for it. And guess what? I hurt him where it hurts the most, money. Yeah.
Well, I mean, man, what would be, this is not maybe a pipe dream, but what would really be nice is if it's like, oh crap, I'm going to get caught, so let's calm down a little bit. So maybe things will calm down, but it's hard to say. But I'm glad you got to see all 4 of your kids, and I'm, minus the issue that you mentioned with your youngest, or I think you said it was your youngest, but I mean, at least this is a step in the right direction.
Yeah, but it's going to be a whole month of public visits until they're allowed at the apartment.
Yeah, but you said that's what you wanted, though, right? I mean, you were kind of setting it up that way. Is that? Did I hear you correctly on that, or no?
It's not really what I wanted, because not only is my boyfriend asking if the kids are coming over, but the kids are asking if they can come over. They want to see my cat, because my cat is awesome sometimes.
Nice.
But it's just a safety thing.
Yeah.
It's 100% a safety thing. I mean, I had my kids telling me that, I was at the wrong police station, daddy's going to come pick them up here. And I'm like, no, that's not what we discussed. And they're like, well, you're at the wrong place. And, they started getting a little fretful at the end. And I'm like, all right, calm down. Like, dad's going to be here shortly. It's just a hard game to play, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, God, this stuff is so trying, right? I mean, it's like, it's the hardest thing you can ever go through. It just takes all your strength and fortitude to be able to just keep yourself sane enough to just keep putting one foot in front of the other, to, trust that things can get better. I mean, and you've been dealing with the pandemic issues and all the stuff with that have just made this so much longer and more complicated and drug everything out. So you're one strong person, Tiff.
Oh, and I found out that my 8-year-old lost his cell phone, because I bought him a replacement one, which I was going to give him for Easter. And he's like, yeah, I don't have the SIM card. I lost my phone. And I'm like, okay. So now I have bought him a phone, and I guess he asked me if I would set him up a new phone and pay for it.
Your son did, or?
And I found out the other one, yeah, my second oldest. And then my oldest one had lost his phone between going between the 2 vehicles at drop off. and I went to go call it, and it wasn't in service. And I'm like, okay, I just paid $100 to this phone last month. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
That's $100, and it's a prepaid phone. So, I mean, that should have been close to 2 months, or maybe 3, depending on what kind of plan he was on.
You know, and what you're talking about,
I'm kind of a little baffled at that.
But that's a type of crap that they do. Oh, it got lost. Oh, we don't know where it is. It's so sad. And it's just, you're stuck holding the bag, and you can't say anything. You can't say, oh my God, there's this. You got to be really careful what you say.
The stipulation.
Yeah.
The stipulation that I went with my attorney, and I had her write it in, was that I could contact the children at any time, provided that it wasn't like interrupting school.
Okay.
Which is fine. But he kicked back and said through his attorney that I locked up their phones and they don't have access to it. The younger children with the Kitty Buzz phones. And I told my attorney, I said, parental lock doesn't stop them from using the phones. Right. I said, not charging them and locking them up in a cabinet stops them from using the phones, which they have noted multiple times on the Zoom recorded visitation videos.
Yeah.
I said, so I'm calling bull on that one.
So this was today, right? So you went through the visitation today?
Yeah.
So how are you feeling now? Just probably emotionally drained, huh?
Pretty much. I mean, I'm pretty ecstatic. I got my cameras up. I made sure all my pictures, all my angles were good. So now I get to watch my cat run around my apartment until the children actually touch down. But they're actually pretty excited. I asked them what kind of bedding they wanted, and
nice.
We're gonna go out and re-update their rooms. So
all right.
They're super excited about that.
Well, I got a couple of I have work calling. Dang it. Crap. Decline. I don't know if you guys are hearing those things. All right. I got other callers on the line too. So, hey, thanks for calling and sharing. And I'm sorry it's still rough, but I at least feel good that you're making progress.
Yeah, it'll get better. It
will. It will. All right. Let me hit the right button. Let me put my phone in do not disturb so that I don't getting work calls is kind of frustrating. So I'll have to deal with that. But what I do want to do now is Eric is actually calling in from Dad Talk Today. So let me pull him on. Hey, Eric, how you doing, man?
What's going on, brother?
We made it work. So what do you got going on? You're getting ready to go on another road trip, huh?
Yeah, I leave in 3 hours. We're on our way to Idaho tomorrow. We're meeting at the Capitol in Boise alongside of the John Mass family. We got 30 different legislators. We're going to try to get some legislation against false allegations going on out there in John's name.
That's awesome, man.
The next day we're rallying in front of the police station where John was murdered to say what's going on. Mom still hasn't been arrested. And there's a lot to be said about that I probably can't say right now, but we're basically going to try to get their attention and find out what's going on. And we're flying out to D.C. the next day to do a rally against false allegations. It's the Women Against False Allegations and the National Coalition for Men. We're going to be doing that in D.C. And then we're taking off on like a 12-state trip of the Northeast, starting up at Maine and working our way all the way down.
So you're on an extended road trip. I mean, this isn't just a fly to Idaho and come back. I mean, you got some a bunch of stuff planned.
Oh yeah, man. I leave tomorrow and don't get back until next Friday, and then I'm back for 2 days. Then we're taking off to Wisconsin and Missouri, and back for another 2 days, then back to Colorado and Wyoming. I mean, we're hitting the capitals while it's a hot issue, trying to get some type of shared parenting legislation going on, and trying to get some solutions to this stuff, man. This should have been done a long time ago.
How are you holding up with all this? You sound pretty tired, man.
I'm tired, but I want it over with. You know, it's like while we got it hot and fresh and got people's attention, we don't want it to die down, because it will die down. And they've swept us under the rug with these issues for years.
Man, that is so true.
Yeah.
Do you think, okay, I'll ask this, and you may not be able to say anything, but do you get the impression, or has there been any information that they might be looking to charge other people with John's murder, or can you say anything?
I'll say it this way. I hope so.
Okay.
And I think a lot of other people do too. And I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to figure out what was going on with that situation.
So if you guys don't know who's listening to this, and I have up on the screen right now the interview I did with Eric, where we talked a little bit about this, and then the next video on it is one of his videos. But John Mass was a father who was alienated for almost 3 years, and when he finally convinced the court system that, hey, there's a bunch of false allegations here, we're not keeping the kids from the father anymore, he was murdered by his father-in-law at the first exchange on the first night where he should have gotten his kids back. His father-in-law showed up and killed him. And yeah,
you know, to put insult to injury, the kids pulled up in the parking lot right after their dad was killed. So.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if that was public yet or could be said. I can't remember whether we chatted about that or not, because I think there were still, the last time we talked, there were still a lot of things that we couldn't talk about publicly. So I mean, you know.
Yeah, it was, you know, I had to let the attorney come on the show first. I mean, we know more than what we can put out, but it's.
Oh yeah, copy that.
It's a touchy subject, man.
And guys, here's the thing. If I cursory cover this. Eric is right in the middle of this. He's working on a documentary for it. And if you want to follow more, again, like I did earlier, and I'll just pull it up while we're on the phone again, just go to, when you go to YouTube, just do Dad Talk Today in the search, and you're going to see, I scroll down, you'll see Eric's little avatar there for Dad Talk Today. Congratulations, man, on breaking 1,000. I just noticed that, or earlier I mentioned it, but I don't know if you heard me say it. And since I'm here again, I mean, Eric is really making huge strides. I mean, you look at the numbers on YouTube and they seem like, oh, well, that's a small channel. He has a huge following on Facebook. He's just starting to push more stuff to it. And the nice part is once you hit 1,000, now all you need is the view numbers, and you can start monetizing it, which will help start funding what you're doing. But I mean, look, he interviewed Dr. Ben. That must have been a fascinating conversation with Ben Carson, man. You were getting really good people.
Yeah, he grew up without a father, man, and I think it was a shock to everybody. I know a lot of people, when they see these politicians, they think they automatically don't care. He was one of the most genuine and humble guys I've spoke to, and they found out Dr. Carson was almost a victim of paternity fraud. Like a lady, when he announced he was going to run in politics, tried to say he's the father of my child. And he said,
wow.
The thing about it was he's never slept with anybody but his wife. They was taken that he was going to be just like another politician that's done all these things behind the scenes.
Oh, wow.
And,
yeah. Did you guys talk about that on your interview with him?
Yeah, we did.
Wow.
We sure did.
I haven't had a chance to, you can see a little bit. If you look on the screen, I've watched a little bit of it, but I haven't finished it. So guys, check that out too. Hey, Eric, I know you got stuff to do. Thanks for calling in, man. Is there anything else you want to let people know before you go?
No, that's it, guys. Keep supporting Duane. I know he's been working hard towards this. He was in this game way before I was. And, I know you work hard and got your heart in the right place trying to help these guys, man. So, I appreciate everything you do, man.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that, man. All right. Well, have a safe trip, and I'll be following what you're doing, man. Take care.
All right. See you, bud. Bye. All
right. Make sure you guys go subscribe to his channel, and Now I got to make sure I hit the right one. Okay, so it disconnected. So let me hit this button. I got one other caller that I'll go to, and I'm sorry you've been waiting for a while, but I'll hit that in a second. I just want to look at. You know what? I'm not even going to do that. I'm just going to go this, and I'm going to go to the next caller because I've made you wait too long. So, hello and welcome to the show.
Hi, Duane. It's Camila. How are you?
I'm good. Good to hear from you again. How are things? Sorry about the long wait. How are things going?
No worries. It's definitely worth it. Things are well. I just wanted to get your insight on things, and you have some knowledge and personal experience on this. So I was wondering if you'd be able to help me out with this topic that I'm thinking about making a move on.
Okay.
So it's on the topic of parental alienation, but not for me. So I know you've helped coach me through my divorce, and even before I started, participating in the chat, and then throughout my chat participation, and you calling and whatnot. And in the past, you've been really helpful, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, sure.
So as far as, they say like throughout generations, patterns.
Oh, yeah.
They repeat, So, but as far as everything with my ex-husband, I'm not worried about anything with that. But I've been in no contact with my parents for over 6 years now, and I have no contact with, my son doesn't have any contact with his grandparents on his dad's side, nor his father, not because I'm trying to alienate him from him, but there's a lot of physical and emotional abuse there. It's just not a safe situation and whatnot. But yeah, so as far as him having family that he can, see other than me and my brother and whatnot, I would love for him to have that.
Yeah.
A large family, or have some family, so he doesn't feel like he's alone. And so it was a hard decision to make, to cut off contact with my mom and dad.
Oh yeah, that is
not
hard.
an easy decision. Yeah, definitely. And growing up, I was always a daddy's girl. Like always, wanted to seek his approval and make sure, like, hey, like, let's hang out. He taught me a lot with electronics. He taught me a lot with just life in general. And my mom has taught me a lot as well, whether it's through stuff, her example of what not to do or even what to do. It's the same with my father. But if I don't have a relationship with my mother by default, because she kind of runs the whole show.
Yeah.
I don't have a relationship with my father either. And she's, throughout my life, tried to triangulate us and, like, alienate him from us kids. And that hasn't really worked that well because all of us kids really like him. He's a good person. He's just like a stand-up guy. The only thing is that he doesn't really, kind of stand up to her. And so
Right.
If she doesn't like control every aspect of our relationship, then there just isn't a relationship. And so when I went into contact with her, I left the door open and told him, like, not in defiance or anything, but I told him, like, I think you're a healthy, wonderful person, and I would love for you to continue to be a grandparent for your grandchild, and have the door open for us, because you're my father and all, and I care about mom too. It's just not a healthy situation. And so, but yeah, he just hasn't reached out or anything like that. And so since I'm planning to move farther away here soon, they're only a couple of states away. I've been considering before the move, just going up there and breaking no contact, not because I think my mother has changed at all, but because, you know, eventually one day, eventually people die. And, you know, my father is getting older, and I don't know if I'd be able to live with regret of not reaching out to him and not having my son know him, even just for like a couple of memories, or even just like one day, just reaching out and letting him know, like, hey, I really appreciate everything you've done and helped build my character as a person.
Right.
And, you know, I love you, and have my son and him like interact, you know, so he has that, because I know that he loves my son so much too. But I know like we were talking about earlier, you guys were talking about entering the Viper's Den, or, you know, like, it's not a good situation.
Yeah, but,
so
okay.
I don't know if it's a smart move.
Here's the thing. And I understand the dilemma you're in. I really do. And I think doing this one visit, and, you know, go in knowing that you have your boundaries, know that if your mom escalates things to a point, you know, you can just pile everyone up in the car and go. But see, what you're talking about is one of the things that all of us have to think about. And if you're already worried that if you don't do this, you're going to regret it, the risk to you is relatively low to go ahead and do this. So, okay, hold on. I got another word. I got to decline this. Anyways, sorry about that. My phone's ringing off the hook. So what I'm trying to say is I think if you do this and you go and you have that trip and you have that interaction, yes, there's a risk, but I think there's a higher risk on you regretting it. And then if something happens to your dad or whatever, that you didn't do it. So doing this, I don't think is a bad thing. I think you can do this, and I think that you can have your boundaries with your mom and be in that situation. And yes, you are stepping in the Viper's Den, and yes, there's a possibility that your mom could potentially, you know, just lash out at you and make this a nightmare. And if she does, then at least you know you tried, right? You what you're trying to accomplish, to have this conversation with your father, to have your child have that interaction, I think you're okay. Does that make sense?
Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, definitely. And I'm not, you know, throughout the ages, it's been consistently that's been her, and I'm not going to be surprised if, you know, a snake acts like a snake, you know, like, you know, I'm almost kind of like okay with like a little bite, as long as, you know, like you said, I'm not living with regret. And it's not just about me also too. I mean, it would really suck to try your best and be an amazing parent, and one day, you know, have grandkids but not be able to see them. And so, like, that's not what I want to do, you know, but I have to make sure we're safe too. So, you know, just kind of do what I can from a safer distance. And
exactly.
I definitely get what you're saying. I've been, since it'll be coming up very soon here, I've been getting prepared, you know, and thinking, okay, what would be the most ideal situation in person, like in public or at their house? You know, it's like, you never know, because she does like to always make herself a victim, of course, and you know, try to set up scenarios to, you know, be over dramatic and cause a scene or call the cops for absolutely nothing. And so I'm like, I don't know the best situation with that, and I'm not really.
You know what? One thing I just want to add, you know, just as because I say, you know, stay away from the person. When there's school functions, I still have to show up and I have to sit with the ex. You know, I mean, so there are still times that I still have to put my, you know, get into the Viper's Den, so to speak, like I mentioned earlier. And I just mentally prepare myself before I go. You know, I kind of like, just like work through the scenario in my head. It's like, okay, if this happens, this is what I'm going to do. If that happens, that's what I'm going to do. And, you work that out in your head. And hopefully, since you've established boundaries, your mom won't push it that far. But I think what you're talking about doing is spot on. I don't think there's, I'm not going to chastise you for it and say, oh, see, you shouldn't have done that. I'm not going to say, no, I understand where you're coming from, and you have a valid reason. When are you going to do it?
Okay, that's really good to know. I'll probably be this weekend, very shortly, coming up. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. Just, if she's like Mrs. Nice Guy, or like you guys were talking about earlier, then, and coming up with a situation, okay, I'm just gonna, come at it from like an observant kind of.
That is perfect.
Stance, like, oh, that's interesting.
If possible, share back with us how it goes. Either leave a comment or our Discord, or call back in when I do another show.
Yeah, and I've also got, like, the last couple of times I have talked to her, I'm really, really good at gray rocking with her. So we'll see how it goes now that my son's older and he can talk and all that too. So hopefully things go well. But I will definitely let you know. And thank you so much for your insight. Everything,
awesome.
All the advice you've given me in the past has been helpful. So I appreciate it.
Well, I'm glad I can help. All right, let us know how it goes.
All right.
All right, guys. One last thing I'm going to cover before I start wrapping this up and deal with my work issues. Might help if I put this in there. Hold on. Oops, let me hit the right button. I moved my stuff around. I am not good at multitasking. It never works out well. All right, I want to recognize Tiffany's super chat. It says hit it now. Hit that like button. Obviously, we're running a little late because a few people have dropped off. We had like 65, 70 people, I think, at one point. So, all right, guys, I am going to start wrapping this up. Definitely hit the like button. If you're new, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notified if, let me pull this back up. If you haven't signed up for let's see here. No, not that one. Let me see. I got to go back this way. If you haven't signed up for the text notification, just text DSD Live to 1-844-598-0012, and it'll add you on. And this is only valid in the United States and in Canada. Unfortunately, it's not in the rest of the world, but it is what it is. When I post things like what I'm going to post tomorrow, you will get a text notification with the link saying, hey, this video is going live now. On that, I do want to say thanks so much to all the people that support the channel as channel members. Let me pull this up. Here you go. I got to hit the update button on this. I haven't done that in a while, but thanks so much for everybody who supports the channel and helps keep the lights going and participates in the show. It really means a lot to me, and I really appreciate the support. On that, thanks for hanging out with me tonight. Have a great evening, and I'll catch you later.